What is going on, señores y señoritas? Baby Bonez here with another video, and I released a basic aerial tutorial a little while ago, and I realized that while aerials in Rocket League are one of the most basic mechanics you can learn, there is a massive skill difference between a low rank aerial and an RLCS level aerial. This is because of the fact that mechanics in Rocket League are so dynamic with so many different factors going into them. So in this video, we're going to break down these factors, see what makes them more effective so y'all can implement them into your game. This is part of a series of videos I do entitled Analyze the Mechanic, where I break down mechanics, analyze the factors, and show you how to improve the mechanic. So if you find this video or any of my videos helpful, please make sure to subscribe down below. Helps me out a ton and I appreciate it. Enough of the intro, y'all. Let's hop into it. So we need to compare the way high level players go for aerials versus low level players. Spot the differences, maybe laugh at some plats, and go from there. Now, I've split an aerial up into 3 stages: initial positioning, flight, and contact. So we will break down these stages, show you the do's and the don'ts, and give some tips. Sound good? Alright, let's do it. The first stage we'll talk about is your initial positioning. Yes, we will get to the fun spinny part later, but we have to talk about everything leading up to the aerial before we get into the actual aerial. And initial positioning is all about 2 factors: momentum and position. Obviously in Rocket League, if you can maintain momentum and stay at max speed, you can get to the ball faster and you're not wasting boost to speed up. In the context of an aerial, this means all of your boosts can be focused on gaining altitude and not wasting boosts on speeding up in the air. However, there is a flip side in which you won't be able to reach the ball if you're going too fast and it just soars over your head. So you'll want to slow down on occasion just to reach the ball, but in short, you want to be going as fast as possible for any given aerial for maximum effectiveness. As I'm sure you'll already know, positioning is massive in Rocket League, and for an aerial, you want to be in the optimal position to get to an aerial. The key to being in that optimal position is all about awareness, so you will want to be watching your teammates and opponents and predicting likely outcomes. Now, I understand that all of this sounds good, but I haven't told you any actual tips, so here are the tips to improving initial positioning. Tip number 1, wide rotations. When you are rotating, make sure you're sweeping out wide so you can keep up your speed and get a good angle at the ball. This is going to help you maintain momentum and conserve boost for when you do need to go for an aerial. Way too many low rank players and even high rank players take way too shallow rotations that leave them with low speed in an awkward spot for an aerial play. Wide rotations can cure this. In summary, wide rotations are going to help you angle yourself better for an aerial so that you can hit the ball hard and accurately and you aren't caught flat-footed. Tip number 2 is all about awareness, and it's increasing your nameplate scale and set it to always appear. While I'm sure a lot of people already do this, it's just going to help your awareness and help you predict the play better so your positioning will be on point. Tip number 3, point your nose at the play. If you're attempting to be as fast as possible to a ball, then you want to be pointed towards where the play is happening. So whether this is a 50, a clear, or any play that's occurring, it is a general good rule of thumb to point your nose at the play. Obviously, there are going to be situations where this doesn't apply, like rotating into net as a third man, but for most aerial plays, and just plays in general, you want to be ready for them as soon as possible, and if you already have your nose pointed at the play, you'll be ready that much faster. Pretty simple stuff so far. Just be in good position with good speed, right? Stancher. That was clear, right? Anyway, now for the fun stuff. So now that we have covered initial positioning, we can move on to taking flight. The main factors that go into flight are trajectory and adjustments. Speaking of taking flight, y'all, my channel is absolutely zooming up right now, but still so many of y'all are not subscribed. So if you take a second and click that that nice red button. It's so tempting, I know, click it. It would be mucho gusto. Anyway, back to the video. So trajectory is all about your initial takeoff, right? So right when you do your fast aerial, you want to make sure you are pointed directly at the spot where you will eventually make contact with the ball. If you watch pros, you will notice there are almost zero adjustments on most of their aerials. This is because their initial trajectory is almost perfect. This means they can focus all of their speed and momentum right to the point of contact on the ball. And it makes sense, right? The quickest path is a line from A to B. So you will want your trajectory as accurate as possible. This being said, you are not always going to have a perfect takeoff and a perfect prediction, so you will require adjustments, but you do want these adjustments as minimal and fluid as possible. This means using at least an air roll button for your adjustments. If you want to be as optimal as possible, you want to be spinning, preferably with air roll left or right. Now, I've made a bunch of videos on how to spin in the air with air roll left and right, so check those out. But in general, when you spin in your adjustments, they're going to be more fluid, more boost efficient, and most importantly, faster. You also want to make sure your adjustments only happen in two places if possible, at the very beginning of an aerial and at the very end. As I stated earlier, you want to be flying in a straight line to the ball as much as possible. The second place is adjusting to make good contact with the ball. So adjust early, fly straight, and adjust at the end to make solid contact. Alright, so now let's get into some tips for flight. Tip number 1, practice turning into your aerials. Very rarely in game will you ever be perfectly lined up for an aerial, so get used to doing 180s and e-brake turns into your aerials. This will greatly improve your ability to set that initial trajectory, and it's going to make you faster. Tip number 2, master car control. I know guys, it is a lot harder in practice than theory, but just hop into a free play or workshop map, learn how to fly around in the air, practice these in custom training packs, get all the kinks out. You want to focus on turning and adjusting at max speed, getting faster and faster. And guys, on that same token, we can call this tip number 2.5. I want to recommend you learn how to spin with air roll left or right, and I have videos on that where I go over it in detail, so just watch those if you want to learn that. Tip number 3, master fast aerials. As I'm sure most of you already know, fast aerials are when you double jump while holding boost, and they are a basic mechanic, but a mastery of them definitely isn't basic. You need your fast aerial to be adaptable. And what I really mean by this is knowing when you need a quick double jump for a lower aerial versus the ability to wait and use that second jump for an aerial directly above you, and to really be able to control everything in between those two. So practice your fast aerials on a variety of setups to improve your trajectory. This is going to leave us with the final stage, making contact. It is tricky to try and point out specific factors for making contact because you don't always want the same thing out of an aerial. You could be getting a clear, passing, faking, shooting, but lucky for y'all, I am a Rocket League genius. So the factors that go into making contact are positioning, contact point, and speed. So positioning for the touch you want is way overlooked by most of the Rocket League community. Like, if you want to hit the ball up, you gotta be below it. If you want to hit it down, you have to be above it. Generally speaking, you want to be at least level with the ball for your hit. Way too many low rank players just fly directly into the ball from wherever they jump. This means they're always hitting it up and they're always making contact with the bottom of the ball. Instead, you want to be level with the ball. That way you can control the touch forward much better. Now, contact point has to do with what part of the hitbox you make contact with. For maximum power, you want to be able to catch the ball on your nose or even the corner of your nose. But maybe you want to hit it soft and then you can use your wheels, or maybe you don't have a lot of time to get your nose around, so you flip around and hit it with your hood. Like I said, there's a lot of variables here and you're gonna have to play around a little bit and really master all the different aspects of the hitbox. Now, speed is kind of obvious. faster you are, faster ball goes. So you need to be confident in your approach, positioning, and contact point. That way you can hit the ball with maximum speed and have confidence in that touch. But there are some tips to help you out with all of this. Tip number 1, boost while you make contact. Boosting is by definition accelerating, so you want to accelerate through contact for maximum power. Tip numero dos, practice double taps. Now, double taps are great practice because of 2 things. The initial touch off the backboard has to be accurate and powerful, and the second touch doesn't leave a lot of time for adjusting, so it's twice the practice. Double tap tutorial coming soon, by the way. Tip number 3, practice single jump shots. So I know this is kind of how to improve your aerials and air rolls, but with a single jump, you can basically keep your flip all the way up to like halfway up to the ceiling. And if you do have your flip, you're obviously going to get much more power. So practice learning the timing of holding down jump and saving that second flip for contact in the air. It can be a bit tricky with the timing, but practice the timing and you'll get it down. All right, y'all, that should be everything you need to take your aerials to the next level. If this video helped you out, please make sure to like and subscribe down below. Y'all let me know down in the comments what videos you want to see next. And if you want to reach out to me, my socials are down in the description, including my Twitch, come hang out, and my Discord, come chill. And yeah, have a good day or night to all you out there with a terrible sleeping schedule like me.